Hi, Dr. Hinchy here. I'm going to talk to you about herbal interventions for healing Babesia. So let's dive right in. Basically, I'm going to compare and contrast an acute Babesia infection with chronic babesiosis. And we're going to be looking at the various cytokines that are released and how this can alter a shift in the immune system when we're dealing with a chronic infection. And then finally, we're going to actually look at where the particular herbs are going to intervene here. So it's a little bit technical, but I'm sure you can all follow along. And I just want you to get the general principle here. So, with an acute Babesia infection, the innate immune system is going to stimulate an increase in two cytokines, interleukin 12 and interleukin 18. And now these two cytokines are going to stimulate the production of natural killer cells. Natural killer cells are a very important immune cell that help your body to fight infections. And so the natural killer cell is going to do two things. Number one, it is going to increase interferon gamma, which is going to eventually help to turn arginine into nitric oxide. The natural killer cells also stimulate the release of inductible nitric oxide synthase, which is an enzyme that is going to convert arginine into nitric oxide. So then we have the release of nitric oxide. It surrounds the red blood cell or the endothelial cell, which is where Babesia loves to live. And it kind of blows it up in this gaseous sort of cloud. Now, in a chronic Babesia infection, we have the B cells stimulating the release of interleukin 10 and interleukin 4. Interleukin 10 is going to increase levels of transformative growth factor beta, which is going to stimulate the release of L-ornithine, and this overall is going to support parasite reproduction. IL-10 is also going to stimulate the release of an enzyme called arginase. And remember, enzymes break down other things. So arginase is going to break down or degrade arginine. And if we're breaking down the arginine, we're not going to have that substrate to convert into nitric oxide. Now, interleukin 10 is also going to decrease the production of interleukin 18 and interleukin 12. And then this in turn shuts down the natural killer activity and the production of interferon gamma. This is going to further inhibit the production of nitric oxide. Now, I want to show you where the herbs intervene here in this scenario. So, first, if we bring in ashwagandha, one of my favorite immune balancing herbs, and now you finally get to see why, ashwagandha is actually going to block IL-10 and it's going to increase the production of IL-12, which is going to unblock the inhibition of natural killer cell production and interferon gamma. And then because we're decreasing IL-10, we're also going to decrease the production of arginase, the enzyme that breaks down arginine. Then we bring in red sage, which is going to increase the production of inductible nitric oxide synthase. Plus, we have unblocked the natural killer cells. So now this enzyme can work and actually convert the arginine into nitric oxide. Okay. Now, if we bring in, and it doesn't have to be all four of these, it can even be one of these. If we bring in either astragalus, Artemisia annua, red sage, or Chinese skullcap, we're going to further block interleukin 4. And then that is going to help to block the TGF beta, the L-ornithine, and we no longer are supporting parasitic reproduction. Okay, so here is a study that was done and published in Frontiers in Cellular and Infection Microbiology in 2021. And this study was looking at the various botanical medicines, Cryptolepis, Artemisia, Scutellaria, Japanese knotweed, and L-cornea, and it showed that they demonstrated an inhibitory effect against Babesia duncani. So in this study, you can see the top two performers here were Chinese skullcap and Cryptolepis. Um, so then I put together for you a sample protocol to help someone that has a Babesia infection. And so you're looking at doing Cryptolepis, a fourth to a half of a teaspoon 3 times a day, Alcornea, a fourth of a teaspoon 3 times a day, Seta acuta, a fourth of a teaspoon 3 times a day, Artemisia annua, a fourth of a teaspoon 3 times a day. Or if you're using just artemisinin extract, which is not what I recommend, I am very passionate about using the whole herb because the constituents often work synergistically together and have side benefits and actually help to stop side effects. So looking at the whole herb Artemisia annua, a fourth of a teaspoon 3 times a day. If you are using artemisinin extract, it would be 200 milligrams 3 times a day. And if you're using the artemisinin extract, it is important to take breaks, and that's not something that I'm going to get into right now, but you definitely want to rotate it. Ashwagandha, a fourth of a teaspoon to half of a teaspoon 3 times a day. Red sage, half a teaspoon 3 times a day. L-arginine, I will only supplement if the patient shows they are deficient in it. So this is one of the micronutrients that I look at on a white blood cell micronutrient panel. If the patient is deficient, I will supplement with 2,000 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day. And again, that L-arginine is going to give the building blocks to making nitric oxide, which is our body's innate defense when dealing with a parasite like Babesia. I like to use astragalus, a fourth to a half of a teaspoon 3 times a day. And I usually will not keep someone on astragalus long term, usually for about the first 3 to 4 months. And then milk thistle, 200 milligrams 3 times a day to really help to protect and support the liver. Um, and to help with detoxification. Now, obviously, this would be in addition to doing all of the background work. You can look at my 10B protocol to understand what I'm talking about, but really it's more like making sure that all of the organs are functioning properly, that you have all of the micronutrients that your body needs, that you are not eating foods that are acting as poisons and inflammatory stimulators in the body. Just making sure that everything else in your body is functioning properly and doing all of the lifestyle modification. So our next slide, I have kind of putting together a treatment for patients that have Borrelia and Babesia. And I kind of want to walk you through the thought process here. So using G3M Pactisol, which is a specialized studied form of modified citrus pectin to decrease galactin-3 levels, because galactin-3 is going to help these infections break down your cells and migrate through the body. It also stimulates inflammatory cytokines that help these infections live inside of the body. Also helps to form biofilms and decreases natural killer cell production. So we really want to deal with this galactin-3 level and get it down by using this G3M Pactisol so that we can inhibit all of these things, break down the biofilms, decrease inflammation, fix the immune system, heal the gut, bind LPS that cause HERCs, also to bind heavy metals that might be released from the biofilms and encourage healthy collagen production. So this G3 Pactisol does so much. Secondly, we would use ashwagandha and or astragalus, depending. But really, the main goal here is to balance TH1, TH2, and help to fix this immune dysfunction. Ashwagandha is also great at inhibiting some of those enzymes that break down the collagen and the extracellular matrix. Okay, then I would use red sage to help to give the body back its innate ability to destroy organisms using nitric oxide. And then using a combination of Japanese knotweed and Chinese skullcap to inhibit the inflammatory cytokine cascade. protecting the endothelial cells, again, using Japanese knotweed, increasing natural killer cells using cat's claw, and then using proven antimicrobials like Cryptolepis, which is not only antibacterial, but antiparasitic and antiplasmodial, using Sweet Annie, which is both antispirochetal and antiparasitic, and then teasel and black walnut because of their antimicrobial activities. If necessary, we might need to use some antivirals, my favorite being Petunia, Chinese skullcap, and Iastis. And then obviously we want to use pre and probiotics, what other nutrients we need to help to heal the gut. And we want to make sure that we are supporting our routes of detoxification and elimination. So making sure that we're replenishing deficient micronutrients, eating an anti-inflammatory diet, doing stress reduction, sleep hygiene, gratitude, trying to really work on that mindset and really instilling hope in ourselves, our patients, or our loved ones. So I hope that this was helpful to you. And I hope that all of this information has been helpful on your path to healing Lyme. Thank you.